Hi, this is Shivani. In this video, Sarah, Christine, and I are going to teach how to use Syncthing in Arch Linux to synchronize and back up files between two or more DigitalOcean droplets. Syncthing is an open source file synchronization program which synchronizes files between two or more devices automatically in real time. Let's see how to set up Syncthing. First of all, you need to install Syncthing by just typing sudo pacman #syu syncthing. In my case, it has already been installed, so it will just get updated. Now you have to edit the config file for Syncthing, which is located in the Syncthing folder. So you can see this is the config file. You have to make sure that you change the GUI address to 0000 and the port number is 8384. This allows Syncthing to listen on all available network interfaces, which is particularly useful if you want to access the Syncthing web interface from your local machine. That's it. Let's exit from here. Now, we don't want to start Syncthing every time we log in. We can enable Syncthing service to start automatically using systemd. To see the service file, just go in this system directory and you can search up for the specific Syncthing service file using grep. So here you can see that the unit name is expecting an instance name. When using systemd, we need to specify an instance name to indicate which service instance you are referring to, which is the username of the user running the Syncthing service. So let's enable the Syncthing service using sudo systemctl enable Syncthing at username.service. It has been enabled. Now we can start it using sudo systemctl start Syncthing at username.service. Syncthing starts automatically by enabling the service, saving us a lot of time, ensuring that the files are always synced even if the droplet restarts. The next step is to open the web browser and go to localhost 8384. So this is the Syncthing web interface. It is the central system to control all your synchronization tasks. You can manage shared folders, add devices, add security features to your account, see the recent changes made, and much more. In case you have multiple users on your machine and you do not want other users to access Syncthing, you can simply set username and password here. You can click settings, go to GUI, add username, password, and save. So this is the default folder, which is being synced with my droplet. Here comes an interesting feature of Syncthing, which is called file versioning. In Syncthing, file versioning allows you to keep track of the old versions of a file. In case you accidentally delete the file or replace it, you do not need to worry. Syncthing makes a new version of the file every time you make any changes to the file, and old versions can be accessed by you. So on the web browser, click on Edit. Look up for file versioning. As you can see, there are several types of file versioning. We will go with the simple file versioning. It can keep the previous version of the file up to a certain limit. Once the limit reached, the older versions get deleted. It is the most straightforward approach. It keeps the files in the default .st versions folder whenever a file is deleted or replaced. Let's keep the limit to 5 and save it. In this way, file versioning provides the additional layer of data protection and prevent accidental loss. Similarly, you can enable versioning for multiple folders. Just keep in mind that this takes extra space off your disk. Now, Sarah will take over.
This is Sarah. I will demo how to use Syncthing to backup files between different devices, and also to demo how to backup files inside one device from a sync folder to another separate folder. So the first part, I want to show you how to connect it to other remote device. On this Syncthing interface, you can see that for my case, a remote device named Shivani has been connected. And how did I do it? Firstly, I need to get the Shivani's device ID. You can click this action button and show ID, and here you can get the ID number. um, Obviously, this is my current device ID number, and you need to get the ID number for the device which you want to connect it to. And then you put your ID number here and save and then close. And then you can see a new device you added successfully under this section. Also, this part will show you the folders information. The content in these folders can be syncing with the device you added uh, just before. So one more thing you need to do is to share these folders with the device, with the other device. You click this sharing button and you check this click this box, and it means that you allow this folder to be syncing with this device. So after all of this are done, our syncing should work. Now let's go inside the my current device through this terminal. First, we need to create in this part, I will show you how to backup files from the syncing folder to a separate folder. Firstly, we need to create a script which can do this backup things. I put this script inside this folder. Now, let's have a look at this script. Inside it, I define the source directory to be the sync folder, which is the same with our syncing interface, the syncing folder. And I define the backup directory to be a folder named sync-backup under my home directory. And I use rsync to execute a command to realize this backup inside one device. So now I quit, and let's talk about our another two important files. They are service file and timer file. So I put them inside this folder, and let's have a look at. This is the service file and this is the timer file. Inside the service file, we need to indicate it will be triggered by the backup.timer file, which we will talk later. Um, this timer file is used to trigger the service file in a determined time interval. Also, the service file will execute the script which we just create inside this path. And now let's have a look at the timer unit file. Inside this timer unit file, I under this timer section, I indicate that unit value to be the service file which we just create. It means that they are depend on each other. And also I uh, set up the timer to be 1 minute. It means that every 1 minute this timer will trigger that service file. So now everything is set up. Let's check up let's test whether or not it works well. So first thing we need to do is to go to the sync folder and have a look at what's inside. So for now, we have 8 files, and my partner Shivani is creating a new file. And when she finished, let's see if it's a new file there. Okay, now we can see we have a new file. This is what Shivani just created. And then let's test the backup from the syncing folder to a separate folder. Let's see, I have a new file. I touch a new file named EEE. And let's go to the separate folder we mentioned above and to see if it's there. So obviously it's not there for now because 1 minute has not been touched. After 1 minute, let's check up again. So now 1 minute has been touched and we can see that we have this new file here. We can also use journalctl command to check the history of the service execution. From this list, we can see that the service is execute every 1 minute. So our backup plan and the configuration are successful. And in this way, if the accident happens to our source device, let's say the files are destroyed, then we can have a time buffer to let us go back to the status before the accident happens. Then we can get back the old version which we saved. I mean, we backed up last time. So in this way, the backup is realized.
Hi, I'm Christine, and let's talk about using Syncthing as your main backup tool. It has its perks, but there are also some things you need to consider. First off, I'll explain the advantages. Syncthing allows you to have a backup system without relying on a big central server. That's decentralization. Your data stays on your devices, and you get to decide who shares what. Some people are really guarded about their personal data. Syncthing takes privacy and security seriously. It encrypts your files while they're being transferred, so you don't have to worry about prying eyes. Plus, it has real-time syncing. If you update a file on one device, it's instantly updated everywhere else. It's very handy for when you need those changes to be instant. For example, if you're collaborating with others or if you're moving a file from your laptop to your desktop without interrupting your workflow. It also works cross-platform. You can use it on your Linux machine, your Windows laptop, your Mac, even your smartphone. But there are some drawbacks. Syncthing isn't the best solution for keeping old versions of your files. It isn't enabled by default, and you need to ensure the location the versions are saved in is not inside the synced folder, otherwise they could be deleted instantaneously. But on the other hand, if you only save them locally, they aren't truly backed up either. Things can get complicated. As for setup, it's not exactly plug and play. You need to adjust the settings, figure out who can access what, and deal with firewalls, so it has a bit of a learning curve. And scalability, it's alright for syncing between a few devices, but if you're talking about a big organization with lots of data, it might start to struggle. Also, Syncthing is reliant on your local network, so if you've got devices scattered around the globe or if your internet is wonky, you might run into some issues. In a nutshell, Syncthing can be a great tool for backups, especially if you value privacy and control, but it might not cover all your bases, especially if you're dealing with a complex setup or need fancy versioning features. After experimenting with Syncthing as a backup solution for Linux, we can summarize a few important points. First, Syncthing has advantages and disadvantages when it comes to backing up your files. On one hand, the files are stored in a location off of your system so that if your system fails, the files will remain in the synced folder, and from there they can be restored. In this way, it can function as a very bare bones approach to system backup. I would recommend using a combination of backup programs if the data you are backing up is of critical importance.
You want to follow the 3-2-1 rule to have an effective backup strategy. That means 3 copies of your data, 2 different storage types, and 1 offsite backup. So, to reiterate, Syncthing works as a backup solution for casual use, but in a professional environment, it doesn't quite reach the mark. Thank you for watching our demo covering how to use Syncthing as a backup solution.